Okay. Again, in my slides, I always have an acknowledge page just to show that I reuse some content from other teachers. Virtualization software is basically you can run operating system in fully emulated environment. So this is like a fully emulated environment. Right now, a partially emulated environment is growing more popular, which is called a container. I will not introduce the container concept here, but if you're interested, you can always check what is container doc. And Docker container is a lightweight virtualization environment. What virtualization we will use is fully emulated virtualization environment. So it takes a lot of resource. Container or Docker, so some say container, some say Docker. It's a lightweight virtualization environment. So it provide basic virtualization function. You can still run a separated operating system under it, but it only provides basic function. The good thing is that it's lightweight, so on your laptop you can run maybe dozens of Docker, dozens of container on your single laptop. Normally, for this virtualization machine, the virtual machine we will introduce, your laptop probably can only run 3, at most 4 virtual machine at the same time. Then your memory will not have enough space to support them. This one is much simpler. Docker grow more and more popular because of this lightweight and fast speed to deploy. So it become more and more popular than the virtual machine. So this is a comparison of the container and virtual machine. Virtual machine is heavy and slow, and it's a full OS isolation. So you can run operating system, Windows, Linux, Mac operating system in the virtual machine. Everything will be supported. And this isolation is only OS level, so it supports partial functions, but it's lightweight and fast and very efficient. So you can deploy dozens of, or even more than 100 containers on a single laptop.
It needs to be for something specific.
Yeah, so for some virtualized task, you don't need to deploy a fully emulated operating system environment. And then you can use Docker to implement that, because that is much faster and put very little burden on your computer. So run operating system in fully emulated environment. So right now, the top virtualization software is VMware. But recently, probably in the last 2 years, VMware was purchased by Broadcom. It's not called VMware anymore. Anyway, so that's the #1 virtualization software producer. So they produce a lot of cloud-based virtualization software to be used by all the cloud. And Oracle produced this VirtualBox software. This is not open source. It's a closed source, but it's totally free. So VirtualBox is free to use for personal use or commercial use. And Virtual PC is by Microsoft, but this one is not that popular. Zing is open source project. The good thing for Zing is that it's totally open sourced, so you can modify it freely by yourself. So Zing is popular in research field, in academic field, because when you do research on virtualization, you want to add some function, you want to change some internal design to make it more efficient. You write some proposed idea, but you need to actually generate some prototype to show that your design works. To do that, you can only use Zing because all the other three, they are not open source. You cannot modify those software by yourself. Zing, you can totally modify it by yourself because it's open sourced. Okay, one student said a fair bit of students are jumping from VMware to Hyper-V because of Broadcom. Yeah, after VMware was purchased by Broadcom a few years ago, not many years, probably just 2 years or 3 years, Broadcom make it a little bit confusing. Just like if you want to download, it's almost impossible to because it shows that VMware is free. I also tried that last year. I tried to download VMware Player or VMware Workstation, but I find it almost impossible to do it. It makes so awkward to do. So many users complained about that, but I don't know what happened to Broadcom company. So some students jump to Hyper-V. Oh, I didn't put Hyper-V here. Hyper-V is another virtualization software. Hyper-V, I actually don't know that much about Hyper-V. It's Hyper-V is by Microsoft, so it's a virtual PC, right? The first significant function architecture case. Okay, but so they all were produced by Microsoft, but it seems that they are different. Okay, it's a little bit more deeper knowledge. Hyper-V is called Type 1 hypervisor. Um, uh, I, I, I didn't try to introduce that that difference. Here is a Type 1. Here is a Type 2. The VirtualBox and the UTM we will introduce in this class, they all belong to Type 2 hypervisor. Type 2 hypervisor just means is you can treat it as a normal software. You install it on your computer that already have operating system installed. Like you install it on your Windows laptop or on your MacBook computer. Your MacBook computer or your Windows laptop, desktop already have a host operating system installed. So this virtualization software, you treat it as a normal software. This Type 1 hypervisor, it just means that you install it directly on a physical machine. So when you have a computer, you don't boot up from your already installed Windows or Mac operating system. You boot up directly from this software. So this software, you can treat it as in the same role, in the same level as operating system. Yeah, so you install this Type 1 hypervisor directly on hardware, just like you install an operating system directly on a computer itself. So so you can treat that it's at the same level as the first installed operating system. It's a little bit tricky. I haven't tried hypervisor by myself before. It have some requirement on the hardware. So anyway, I will not introduce this type 1 hypervisor stuff because of that, and it's more about virtualization. So I will only introduce this type 2 hypervisor that we will use in this class. For Mac computer, virtualization software is mainly these three. VMware for Mac operating system is called VMware Fusion. For Windows computer, it's called VMware Workstation. So VMware Fusion, the parallel desktop is a popular virtualization software for Mac computer, but it's not free. It's very efficient, actually. It runs very smoothly. You can switch between virtual machine and your Mac operating system seamlessly. It almost as if they were installed parallel on your Mac computer. So that's why it gave this name. But I haven't tried this one. It seems supporting because for our cyber operation, we need to try multiple virtual machine in the same line at the same time. Parallel may not support that. It can support to run one virtual machine in parallel to your Mac or operating system. But I haven't tried this because you need to pay a lot of fee to. This is not a cheap software. So I use UTM for my Mac computer. So I will also introduce that in this class. It's totally free. It's open source. Okay, some terminology for virtualization. The host OS is basically the operating system you installed on a physical computer. So that is the Windows, the Mac OS that you installed on your desktop or laptop when you purchase those devices. Type 1 hypervisor is in the same level as this host OS. The guest OS is running in this virtualization software that you installed in your host OS. So it's called we say it's a virtual machine. We usually just say VM. We use VM a lot. So the guest OS is the VM, and the guest thinks it is running on actual hardware, but it's actually running on emulated hardware. Because of this emulation, so virtual machine usually is much slower than the host OS, because every function call is need to go through this virtualization software, go through a lot of intermediate step, then go to the hardware. So virtual machine is much slower than the host OS. VM image is a set of files that make up a guest OS. Like once you install a VM in VirtualBox or in UTM, they exist on your hardware, on your hard drive as a set of files, either a single file or usually it's multiple files. So those files, we call it VM image. And then you can move this set of file from one computer to another computer. So that is, you can import and export a VM image very, very conveniently. So that's one advantage for VM image. You can pre-distribute the VM advantage. You can pre-distribute a pre-configured OS. So you run the virtual machine install operating system, then you configure it, you install some additional software on it, you configure the OS configuration, you do everything. Once you build it, you export the VM image, and because it's just a set of file, you export it to load it to another machine. When that machine imported, then it will have exactly the same pre-configured VM virtual machine on the other computer. So this is an easy way to distribute a pre-configured OS. because pre-configured OS, you can do whatever configuration, then you let other people to try exactly the same configuration. Easy to create multiple snapshot is that it's like a hibernation. For Windows computer, you can hibernate. Then after hibernate, all the memory, all the CPUs will be imaged and saved as a set of file. In virtual machine, you can create a snapshot. Then if something wrong with your installation or with your configuration of the virtual machine, you can load the previous saved snapshot. Then your virtual machine will return back to the previous status. So that's, if something goes wrong, you can roll back to a previously saved snapshot. And it's very easy to do that. Portable, you can run on any host OS. If you have a VM image, you create it on Windows machine, you export it. This can also be loaded by a Linux machine, because as long as you are running the same virtualization software, like as long as you're running on this, well, even you are running different virtualization software, it's still possible that this image doesn't need change. You can directly import on another machine. So it's a very quick way to set up VM by using the pre-built VM image. And in all the cloud service, what you set up is always a VM environment, because it's very easy for the cloud provider to create to quickly set up a virtualization environment just by using this pre-built VM image and run it directly. Another benefit is the sandbox. It does not affect anything on the host OS. If you configure the virtual machine to be isolated, then it cannot touch anything to your host OS. So it will not affect the host OS. If VM goes wrong, you just simply delete it and re-import the original VM image. Then you can recover, or you can just use the previous saved snapshot. Networked just means that you can run multiple VM at the same time. You can put them in one local area network so that those VM, they can connect to each other. In some server, like if you run some specialized virtualization software, you can support set up a virtual network. The virtual network could have several subnet, and they connected with each other with some virtual routers, virtual firewalls. Then your virtualization software can configure this virtual router, virtual firewall. So you can actually set up a quite complicated virtualization enterprise network using that way. So that is ideal for any penetration testing for training purpose. Okay, for Windows computer, for this class, I would recommend you just use VirtualBox because it's the easiest way to do it. Right now, it has the VirtualBox support for Mac M series chip. The problem is that the virtual machine image, they haven't been fully updated yet. In Windows computer, if you find an error in installation, you probably need to install this package first. Then you reinstall VirtualBox. After you install VirtualBox, you should also install this VirtualBox extension pack. Like after you install this, you should also install this VirtualBox extension pack. Extension pack is more like a patch. It's so you can treat this extension pack as the patch to the VirtualBox software. So right now VirtualBox have this installation for this Apple's Silicon host. previous years, the Apple's CPU is still using Intel CPU, so that is for Intel-based Apple computer. This is for the new Apple computer. Well, this may not be true anymore, but anyway, for Mac, these are the two commercial solution. I will not introduce them. I will mainly introduce this UTM because this is a free software that, and also it support Intel-based virtual machine, Intel CPU-based virtual machine image. This is a UTM, and you can download the software and install it on your Mac computer. And it has a lot of VM image library. So all these libraries you can download and install it. And here is a tutorial to help you to install Windows 10 or Windows 11 virtual machine, and also Kali Linux virtual machine on your UTM. You don't need to fully follow these steps, but like here is a UTM. Here it has a UTM gallery. What we need to install, one is Kali Linux. Another is either Windows 10 or Windows 11. Either one is fine. Windows 10 or Windows 11, either one is fine. And another is that Metasploitable Linux VM. Okay, I will introduce the setup, the networking model for the VM later when I introduce a network setup for virtual machine. So you can skip this page right now. I put many of those OS virtual machine image files under my directory here. Like this is the .ova is a VM image file for VirtualBox in Windows computer. So if you install VirtualBox on your Windows desktop or laptop, you can download this .ova file and import it to your VirtualBox. It's a single VM image file. You can import it very easily. This is another one that I will introduce a moment later. And here is Mac OS. These are for Mac M chip operating systems. It's mainly for UTM virtualization software. I put some ISO files there. ISO file is basically a disk image. ISO file is an installation disk image file that if you click it, if you load it, it will start installation of that operating system. So that's called ISO files. If you install a virtual machine operating system from ISO file, it will take some time, just like you install a new operating system on your computer. So it takes some time. For Windows image, for this Windows 10.ova file, this is VM image. You are not installing Windows from scratch. You import this existing pre-built VM image. So this import only take less than 1 to 2 minutes. And after you import, this Windows has this username is IE user, password is this one, P pass W0RD exclamation sign. Metasploitable 2 Linux is also what I want you to install on your virtual machine, because we need to do some testing later. So this one also needed. This one is also pre-built VM image. Its username password is MSF admin. Password is also MSF admin. So that's the username password. UCF actually provide some OS software license for faculty and staff. You can log in through this. And if you are a student, you can access this student benefit. And I cannot access it right now because I'm not a student. But you are supposed to see a list of given software here that you can download, or even license key that you can use. But I cannot show here. This is you can use Azure for free for a certain time. This is Azure's this cloud service. Some students can download the license key for Windows 10, Windows 11. But actually for this class, if you don't have the license key, that is fine, because you can still use this Windows virtual machine without license for 1 month, 2 months. So it doesn't affect much for our use. Okay, the first operating system I want you to install on your virtual machines virtualization software is Kali Linux. Kali Linux is a pre-configured Linux that is pre-configured mainly for penetration testing purpose. So it has pre-installed a lot of security attacking software and also some security defense software. So if you use this Linux virtual machine, then you don't need to install additional attack or defense software anymore, because it has already installed most of them. You can download the Kali Linux virtual machine from here, like a download VM for VirtualBox. You can go to here, and here is installer image. And here showed for ARM for works on relatively inexpensive, low cost modern ARM. So mainly you are doing is here is a virtual machine and a pre-built virtual machine. So you can download the Kali Linux for VirtualBox and download here. And here document show how you can import it into your VirtualBox. So this is how do you import this pre-built Kali Linux VirtualBox VM into your VirtualBox software. So it gives you this step-by-step way how you can import it. So you can follow this this document to import Kali Linux VM. Right now, this is called VBox. It's not OVA anymore. In previous years, this is in this .ova. So .ova, I have slides here to show how you can import it. But for this Kali Linux, if you download right now, it's called .vbox. And you can use this installation document to help you to do the installation, to import this. Okay. So this is a Kali Linux. I think most of you are using 64-bit machine, so you should download that one. And the default username password for this VM image is Kali and Kali. So username password. The VM image, once you unzip it, it has two files, VBox and VDI. So in VirtualBox, you choose the menu add. You can select the above .vbox to add that. I can demonstrate that even though here I should have something wrong. You can click, I believe this is use this choose menu add and select VBox. So choose menu add, then select that you have unzipped the VBox file. Then you can import it. It will be imported instantaneously because it will directly use this file, use these two files. So that means when you unzip it, you should unzip them into a safe place so that you will not delete it accidentally later, because the import will directly use these two files on your hard drive. Let me see if I have that file in my computer so I can demonstrate. Haven't downloaded. Let me download right now. The school's speed should be very fast. So let me try this. Because it's more than 3 gigabytes, so it takes a little bit time to download. I will demonstrate that a moment later. The Metasploitable 2 is another Linux VM I want you to download. Metasploitable 2, it gave me some trouble because Metasploitable 2 was created a long time ago. It was created more than 10 years ago. So at that time, there's no M-chip Mac computer. So Metasploitable 2 was created, this VM image was created for Intel-based architecture. So that's one reason that even though VirtualBox has already been updated to support silicon, this Apple's M-chip computer architecture, this Metasploitable 2 image, there's no one updated this one to support this M-chip architecture. So this one, when you download it, it's still a very old zip file. If you go to this page to download this one .zip, this Metasploitable 2. This VM image is still created for Intel-based architecture. So in order to run it under Mac computer, the M-chip Mac computer, you have to let the virtualization software to simulate Intel architecture. So it's like a 2 level of simulation. the UTM, like UTM can do that. UTM is the first is provide emulation of the hardware. Then UTM also provide way to make the simulation of Intel-based architecture. Then you install this Metasploitable 2 Linux VM on top of that simulated Intel architecture. So that's why I find I can install it in UTM, but I cannot install it under this VirtualBox. Okay, the download has been finished. So let me see. Oh, right now Kali Linux is the 2024.4 version. The one I put on my directory here is still 2023 version. But Kali Linux 2023 version is fine. You don't need to use the most updated version right now. For Metasploitable 2, it's a zip file you download here. After you unzip, it has this many files. So you can see that this VM image using a different format. For this Kali Linux, its format is basically called a VBox. So that's the VM image format because it's for VirtualBox machines, VBox. This one is a VMDK. It's a virtual machine disk format. And it's a slightly different format for the VM image. I will introduce how you can import it into your virtual machine later. The third operating system virtual machine I want you to install is the Windows VM. You can install Windows 10 or Windows 11. Microsoft provide Windows 11's VM image. If you go to here, it's VM. It's support for VirtualBox, Parallel, and Hyper-V, and VMware. But it doesn't have one for UTM. But UTM, I will provide one for you if you install this one for UTM. You can download these. Where to download? Okay. This is Windows 10. This is Windows 11. You download. Oh, this is download ISO image. This is not directly VM image. So they only provide ISO image right now. They don't provide a VM image. Okay. Well, it seems Windows, the Microsoft keep changing. So right now they only provide ISO image. So ISO image is installation image. So that means when you download it, you need to install it from scratch on your VirtualBox. So that takes some time. Originally, they provide the VM image. VM image, then it will be very similar to this Metasploitable 2 or to this Kali Linux. The VM image, you can import it into your virtual machine, like VirtualBox, very quickly, within a few seconds or within 1 minute, at most 2 minutes. But anyway, This is what provided right now from Microsoft. But if you want, you can go to my directory here to download this .ova. I saved before. This is Windows 10. This .ova is Windows 7. So Windows 10, Windows 7 is either one is fine. You can download this one to import. This import is very simple. It's just click the import, then you select that .ova file name. Then you can import to your VirtualBox. For Windows XP, I will introduce that much later. We don't need to do it right now. Okay, so if the VM image has this .ova file type, you can import using this way. Click this VirtualBox menu import, then shows that .ova image. Then you click import. It will take a little bit time, a few minutes, 1 minute, 2 minutes to import. So that's a .ova image. For this, after you import, it will create it. If after you import this .ova, VirtualBox will create this set of files. This image created by VirtualBox, you can see this main file is a VMDK format. So that's why it takes a few minutes because it need to create this image on the hard drive. So the original .ova file will not be modified. So you can delete it later. It doesn't matter. So that's the reason why import takes some time. But for this Metasploitable 2, because the VM image provided by the Metasploitable 2 zip file already have this .vmdk format in it. So when you import this VM image into VirtualBox, VirtualBox doesn't need to create this new VM image anymore. It directly use that VM image. So in this way, it finishes the import instantaneously. If you want to import this Metasploitable 2, let me also download a copy. Okay, it start download the copy. I actually have that copy. Okay, let me cancel this. This is too slow. And this is the original, the Metasploitable 2 Linux. If I unzip it, it's just a set of files. So if you want to import into by VirtualBox, if you want to import by VirtualBox, because it's in VMDK format, you choose this machine new and just use these steps to do that. You choose this machine new, then you can choose the name like and then choose machine new and choose Linux, then click next, default memory, and then use an existing virtual disk. Use an existing virtual disk as a Linux, and you don't create a new disk, you use an existing disk, hard drive disk. So click here, and right now it doesn't have anything on file, so you add that disk. We have this Metasploitable 2 Linux. So add this disk in. So instead of create a new virtual disk, we this Metasploitable 2 Linux, this VMDK is already is an existing disk. So you use that existing disk, then you finish, and then you can see that this one has been created. Of course, the setting is all default setting. I'm not sure if I can run it here or not. Oh. This one. I probably need to change the setting, because the setting. I haven't run this one in VirtualBox under the Mac computer before. Basic ones. This UEFI. Okay. So if you're running VirtualBox in Windows machine, then it should work directly. Because I'm running on Mac computer, this one has some issue with this one. I need to check later, but disable. So this is a way to import a VM image that already have this VMDK image file ready. So you don't need to let the VirtualBox to create another VM image. So VirtualBox will directly use and modify that imported .vmdk file. So that's why when you unzip it, you should unzip it to a safe place, so you will not accidentally delete it in other operation. Okay, so that's the VirtualBox. VirtualBox is relatively easy for you to import all these virtual machine image. If you install a virtual machine from ISO file, then you should do something like like a like this new machine, then select that ISO file, select that ISO file, select what's the operating system, Linux, Windows operating system, then install from that ISO from start, so that one can also work. Okay, because right now I'm using Mac computer, so I can demonstrate install virtual machine in the UTM. virtualization software. This is a tutorial to help you install Windows 11 and Kali Linux. And I have put ARM-based Windows 11 ISO installation files under this folder. So basically, under my homepage, under this folder, there's a Mac OS. So I have this Windows 11. You can see Windows 11 ARM64 ISO. So this is the installation Windows image for ARM-based architecture. And you can install it in your UTM using that one. Or you can follow this tutorial to download this ARM-based Windows ISO image by yourself using this recommended way to download. But you can use my already downloaded image. And once you have this ARM64, this ISO image downloaded in UTM, in UTM, you do this installation. Let me demonstrate that. This help file is okay. So this is a document how you can install this virtual machine in UTM. To install Windows 11 like through UTM, you first click this new virtual machine. So you open the UTM. These are the three I have already installed. So let me demonstrate that. Create a new virtual machine, then click virtualization. Then choose Windows. Because I'm installing Windows 10 or higher, and I have already downloaded that ARM, the Windows 11 ISO file. I browse this to find that ARM Windows 11 file is this one, Windows 11, this ARM64 ISO file. So that's for the ARM architecture. I open it. So you can see that we install Windows 10 or higher. We use this boot image. Then you continue. Here you set up how much memory will be used by the virtual machine. If you don't have that much internal memory, you can set it with maybe 2 GB. If your computer only have 4 GB internal memory, then 2 GB it may be still too big for you. Then you should set up with 1 GB. But if you have 8 GB or 16 GB internal memory for your computer, then I would recommend you to set up like a 2 GB for this virtual machine. These 64 GB is how much disk storage will be used. The tutorial said that you should select at least 50. This tutorial, I remember. I said minimum 50 GB of storage for Windows installation. So here by default is 64. So I will just use 64. But if you don't have that much space, then you must use less. Continue, and then continue. So you can give a name like a Windows 11 install 2020 2025, and You can configure a VM setting here, or you don't need to configure, you can just save. Now this one has been created. Remember, this one created with that ISO installation image in it. So when you first run it, it will actually start installation of this Windows 11. So when you click start, when it starts, you press any key. You press any key to start the boot. Then it will start the installation setup for the Windows 11. This is the setup for Windows 11. And here it will ask you for a license key. You can say, I don't have a product key. And later on, it will ask you to activate your Windows. So, but at least you can use this without license key for 1 to 3 months. So that is enough for this class. If it's do not allow you to use further without activation, you can reinstall this Windows 11 because this is a virtual machine. You don't need to use it for a long time. So I say I don't have product key. Then you can install this Windows 11 Pro, just to do this way. Oh, I want to terminate the installation. Oh. Stopped. I want to totally stop this installation. How do I do that? Delete. Okay, I couldn't repeat the error I made before. So when you install it, if you see this error, if you put this installation and find out that it gives you this error, if you put into a EFI shell instead of the Windows installer, like what I'm putting into Windows installer, but sometimes if it's the first time you boot to suddenly show a shell, then then you can close it and reboot it again. This time, make sure you press any key during the boot to enter the installer instead of entering this EFI shell. So that's what I want to show you, but it seems I've already start this installation. Oh, okay, let me delete everything and then you can see that you create a new virtualized Windows, this ISO file. Suppose I don't change that much. Suppose the first time when you run, you forgot to click any key, then it will actually boot to the so-called EFI shell. Here you need to press a key, like here, you boot to this EFI shell. Here you cannot do anything. So if you see this kind of message, you should close it, and when next time when you boot, you make sure you press key during the start of the booting. So next time when you start to run it, you press the keys during this start boot option part. Then you will boot to that Windows installer. So you will boot to the Windows installer successfully. So this one has started. Okay. So this is how you install a Windows 11 in the Mac computer, in the M chip Mac computer. And how about Kali Linux? Kali Linux, I have already downloaded this Kali Linux 2023 UTM zip file in my folder, and you can download from here, or you can download directly from this UTM library. Like this UTM, you go to the library. Here is Kali Linux, and you can download from here. So this one is also Kali Linux 2023 ARM. It's the same thing as the one I put in my home directory. So you can download either one. And after you download, I have here. So after you download this Kali Linux 2023 ARM zip, when you unzip it, it becomes a single file. It's called 2023.utm. So this is the VM image specifically created for UTM. And for this one to import to UTM is very easy. So you instead of selecting virtualize, you select open existing. So you go to UTM, you create a new virtual machine. Instead of select virtualize, you click open existing UTM image. You open to this download, this Kali Linux 2023 UTM. Then it will be immediately imported. And now you can run it directly. Of course, you can change the setting by right click and you can edit this setting. For example, its CPU, the default is 4 GB. I certainly don't want to run it using 4 GB. I would recommend you to run Kali Linux using either 1 GB or 2 GB internal memory. If you have enough memory, you can use 2 GB. If you don't have, then 1 GB is enough for the Kali Linux. Linux, generally speaking, is much more efficient than Windows in using computing resource. So 1 GB is enough. And then when you run it, it should start the Kali Linux. So using this first option, Kali GUI, so you have this graphic user interface. Now you can log in. The login is Kylie username and password is also Kylie. So you have logged in to this Kali Linux. So you can see this import is very simple. And actually, in my directory, I've actually I not only provide this ISO, I also provide this direct UTM image file. I also provide Windows 11. Well, I don't have Windows 11 UTM image because Windows 11 UTM image, because of the license key issue, if I created last year, it will not be able to use it this year anymore because the license, they will keep asking you for license. So it's very annoying to install Windows virtual machine because of the license issue. If I reconfigured and export it. You can import it, maybe use for the next 1 month. Then the license issue will kick in and you will not be able to reuse it anymore. So for Windows, I only provide this installation ISO, ask you to install from scratch. For Linux, I can provide this image because there is no license issue. Okay, so that's for this two VM. One is Windows, one is Kali Linux. It's relatively easy. The Metasploitable take a little bit trouble to install because the reason is Metasploitable 2 VM only support Intel CPU. I haven't found anyone updated Metasploitable 2 Linux VM with this ARM CPU support. And but UTM provide this emulation, like in UTM, when you let me close this. When you create a new in UTM, when you click this new, originally we use virtualization, right? So this function emulation, it's a slower but can run other CPU architecture. So if you click this emulation, you can actually install a operating system VM image that created for Intel architecture. So you can actually install, you can run this Windows ISO installation image for Intel architecture. You don't need to run this ARM installation ISO because it will actually emulate this Intel architecture. To do that, to install this one, Metasploitable 2 in this Mac, here is a tutorial, a YouTube tutorial, how you can install Metasploitable VM on Mac. I will explain it and demonstrate in this class. Let me see. Oh, it's already 12. Let's take a 10 minutes break. So let's resume at 12:10, and we will finish these slides in the next second half of this class. Let me pause the recording. Okay, let's resume the second half of this class. So this YouTube video will show you that also demonstrate you how to install Metasploitable 2 VM on the UTM, and you first download this installation package in your Mac computer. You install this one. Then on Mac terminal is just means this terminal stuff. You run this Bruce install QEMU. So this one will install this so-called QEMU software. That is emulation software to emulate Intel architecture. Then you run this command. You go to this Metasploitable that VM image directory. Then you run this command like my directory. So small. Let me make it bigger. Because under my folder, this is a download, this is Metasploitable Linux 2, and this is VMDK, right? So you go to here, and you go to that folder, and go to that folder. So remember, Mac computer terminal is like a Linux terminal. All the commands, they are Linux command. So, and here you can see this VMDK file. Then you run this command, QEMU image. So it's just run this this software in this QEMU software to convert this VMDK, this virtual machine disk image into this so-called QCOW2 disk. Once you finished this, and you can follow this YouTube video to import it. The import is similar to the other import in the UTM to import it. Just one thing to remember, when you import, disable this UEFI boot. UEFI boot is that once you import that image, if you click this right click and edit, this system here will have, let me see, it's a QEMU, this menu in the setting here has a UEFI boot. If this one is clicked, just make sure you unclick it. So that's what I mean here. Just unclick this UEFI boot if it's clicked by default. So this is one way. It's a little bit complicated. For this Metasploitable tool, because it doesn't have license issues, so I have exported my VM image and put it here. This Metasploitable tool mchip UTM. You can download this one. And it will, when you unzip it, it will be a single .utm file, just like the Kali Linux that .utm file. You can import this one into your UTM. You should be able to use it directly. So you don't need to go through this QEMU software installation and disk conversion stuff. So this will be much simpler. You can directly download and open them on your UTM. I think it should work, but no one have told me before that it doesn't work. So basically for Kali Linux, for Metasploitable tool, I have both UTM image file on my home directory. You can download them and import into your UTM. For Windows 11, you need to download this ISO image to install it by yourself on your UTM. So that's how you get this 3 VM under your Mac computer. In VirtualBox on Windows computer, you just follow my slides, these previous several slides to install this 3 on your computer. Okay, so this assignment, this quiz 3, quiz 3 assignment basically asks you to set up this 3 virtual machine on your computer. Windows either 10 or 11, Kali Linux, and Metasploitable 2 Linux. You can use like a VMware as your virtualization software. You can use Hyper-V as a virtualization software. You can use any virtualization software as long as you can set up these 3 VM, as long as they can be in the same virtual network and run at the same time.
But UTM is better for Mac.
So for Mac computer, UTM, I would recommend to run UTM because I have tested and it works. And I also tried it last night. It still works. Everything works fine. And for UTM, I have these files, so you can download and import it directly into your UTM. You don't need to go through this complicated stuff. So Yeah, I would recommend that. The VirtualBox, this one you can see I have imported into VirtualBox, but this running has some problem. It just cannot run. I believe the reason is because it's this UEFI interface. I think the UEFI interface is some configuration that I can disable, but I just like my slides here say that in Metasploitable 2, you need to unclick that UEFI boot option. In UTM, I show that, but I try to find for the VirtualBox, is there any way for me to disable UEFI? It's a UEFI boot. It's right now, this is unclicked. Anyone online can find it out if you have a MacBook and try VirtualBox. Let me import some other, like a Kali Linux. Do I have a Kali Linux for VirtualBox? This is a Kali Linux for VirtualBox. Okay, let me try this one. Kali Linux is, that is a VBox format. VBox format is using VMDK. Using here is a VBox format of the VM image. You use add to import it. It's the add. I go to download. This one is a VBox and open. So let me see. Okay, I just use the default setting. Let me see if I can start this one. Fail to open session for this VBox. Okay, so VBox platform, this architecture not supported. This is ARM architecture is not supported. So even for Kali Linux, my VirtualBox has some issue to import the VM image. If you find you can do it, it's just make sure to tell me, and then I can relay that to student in the next 1 or 2 class. So so I'm not successful in using VirtualBox in the Mac, the M-chip Mac computer yet. Okay, let's move on. For the virtual machine, once you run it, if you see this VM window, virtual machine window, display window is too small, you can scale it up in VirtualBox. In VirtualBox, you can click this view virtual screen. You can scale up to like 150%, 175%, 200% to make it bigger if your computer resolution is too high. then the VM image will be very small on your computer. Then you can use this way to make it bigger. Here just some problem you may face when you use VirtualBox. If you lost your mouse, one solution is that you make sure you install this VirtualBox extension pack. When you install VirtualBox, after that, you should immediately install this VirtualBox extension pack, also from the VirtualBox download page. That is like a patch. It will make it not having this kind of problem. So like the error message, so here means that you need to install this VirtualBox extension pack to resolve those small issues for VirtualBox. When you close the virtual machine, if you click this save the machine state, then that is like a hibernation. So next time when you start the VM, it will start from the previous stopped place. Otherwise, it will restart the operating system. So you will lose this previous operation. So this is the VirtualBox use. And if you install Windows VM, make sure that you disable automatic updates. Otherwise, you will face this automatic update very soon, and it will take a lot of time for you to update your Windows virtual machine. So try to disable it when you use. Another is a drag and drop. Drag and drop is that you can select some text and copy and paste to your host OS, so you don't need to type the things between your host OS and virtual machine. Drag and drop, it just means you can copy files from your virtual machine to your host OS, or from your host OS to the virtual machine. You can drag and drop the files between these two operating systems folder. But sometimes even if you say enable drag and drop, it may not work. So sometimes this drag and drop simply does not work. The virtual machines, virtualization software is not perfect. So in that case, if you want to transfer files, you can use some like Google Drive, share drive to upload and download files. For Kali Linux, the username password is Kali. And if you want to run with the root account, you should set up password for the root. And here is a link to tell you how you can set up a password, set up a root password for the Kali Linux. You basically run, once you log in with Kali, you run this sudo su and create password for then run this command password root to create password for the root account. Then next time when you restart Kali Linux, you can log in with the root username. Then you can use that password. Because many operations we need to have root privilege. So this is the one very convenient way for you to create a root login, because by default the root account login is disabled in Kali Linux. Oh, Metasploitable 2 is not optional anymore because my assignment asks you to install. Let me see. My assignment asks you to install Metasploitable 2. Okay. So it's not optional. It's vulnerable VM. to install for penetration testing later. Okay, so that's the installation of this VM. Once you finish installation of those 3 VM, you need to configure their settings, like change the memory size. That's very important. You don't want to use up all your computer's memory, so your other program cannot run anymore. Another setting that is very important to configure is this networking setting. Because in the end, we needed to let the VM to be able to talk to each other. The default VM configuration will allow your VM to have internet access. However, it does not allow your VM to talk to each other. So that's the default setting. For VirtualBox, the default network mode is called NET mode. It's very similar to home Wi-Fi router network. So your VM will have a private IP address, just like your home computer. Your home computer all have a private IP address. And the drawback is that multiple VM, they cannot access each other. So for VirtualBox, you need to configure the network setting by going to the setting, then go into the network, then change the network setting to be either NET network or bridge adapter. So these 2 network mode is what we need to use. So we will introduce these 3 in the class. There are some other networking mode, but they are not related to we don't need them for our class. The NET mode is the default mode. The NET mode just means your virtual machine will have a private IP address assigned by the VirtualBox software. Your VM will not be able to access your host OS. Your host OS will also not be able to access your VM. They are all isolated, but your VM will be able to access internet, just like your home computer will be able to access the internet. So that is this, when you click a VM here, you can right click and go to setting, or you can click this setting and you go to the network. The default is NET, so you can change to bridge adapter or NET network. For example, NET network, the default will be, the name is NET network. Okay, so that's how you change this network setting. How can you find your computer's IP address? In Windows computer, once you run this command line terminal, command terminal in Windows computer is just you run CMD. It's you can search in Windows, you can search and run CMD. Let me show you. Let me run this Windows. Like in Windows, you can find the command here. Then that's a command prompt. And you can find your Windows virtual machine's IP address by type ipconfig command. Then you can see your computer. This is my VM's IP address. You can see this is a private IP address. And in Linux, you run the command, it's called if command. In the Kali Linux VM, In the Kali Linux VM, you run this if command, ifconfig, and that is Ethernet 0 is the network interface. LO means the loop back. It's the internal IP address. And you can see this inet, this one. This is IP version 4 IP address. So this is 64.4. And my Windows is 64.3. You can see they only differed a little bit because I set them up so that they are in the same virtual LAN. And how can you see your computer can reach each other or not? You can use the simple ping command, and you can ping each other's IP address. Like for the two VM I'm running right now, both VM is put in the same virtual LAN, so I can ping each other 168.64.4. And you can see that the reply is coming back. So I can ping the other virtual machine. So that means they can directly talk to each other. Some students make mistake here is that they ping their own IP address. Like this Windows VM IP address is 64.3. If you ping your own IP address, of course you will ping through. Of course you will ping through, but this doesn't mean that you are actually pinging the other machine. Because some students say that, well, I can ping through. So these two virtual machines, they are in the same LAN, but actually you are not pinging the other computer, you are pinging yourself. And it's not possible that the two machines have exactly the same IP address. If your two VM have exactly the same IP address, you must set them up using this NAT mode, where each of them is in their own virtual LAN, and they happen to have the same IP address. If they are in the same local area network, they will not be able to have the same IP address without IP address conflict issues. Okay, so this is a ping command. Okay, the networking setup objective is to let multiple VM run in the same LAN. We say it's called a VLAN, virtual LAN, a virtual local area network. And also need each VM to have internet access, so you can upload and download files from the internet. So two networking mode we will introduce is a bridge adapter and network. The default mode in VirtualBox is NAT. That means that suppose you're running 3 virtual machines, and when these 3 virtual machines running at the same time, their networking is look like this. This NAT router is simulated by the VirtualBox software. If you run a new virtual machine, this VirtualBox network engine will simulate a new NAT router for that new virtual machine. So if you have 3 virtual machines, this VirtualBox network engine will actually simulate 3 NAT router, one for each VM. And these 3 VM, they have no relationship with each other. They cannot see each other. They are totally isolated from each other. So each VM is in its own private LAN. They cannot see each other. So that's the problem for this default networking mode. Bridge adapter mode, however, it means that once you run a new VM, if you set this VM to in this bridge adapter mode, this VM will try to get its IP address directly from your home Wi-Fi router, just like your home computer. Like when you open your laptop at your home, your computer will try to get IP address from your cable modem or DSL modem at your home. and your cable modem will assign an IP address to your laptop. This VM, if they are configured in this bridge adapter mode, when they start to run, they will also try to request an IP address from your home Wi-Fi router. And your home Wi-Fi router will assign an IP address to your VM. So in this way, you can see that suppose on this host computer you have, you run two VM, then both VM will get IP address from the same Wi-Fi router as your host OS. So all three operating systems, they are actually in the same local area network. They are all exist in your home local area network. So your VM is in the same position as all your home device, like your smart speaker, like your thermostat, like your Wi-Fi camera at your home. They all in the same virtual local area network. They all in the same local area network. So in this way, this VM can actually send traffic to your host OS, to your smart speaker, to your Wi-Fi camera at your home. So that's the bridge adapter mode. In bridge adapter mode, the VirtualBox network engine will not create this net router for it. The VM will directly send request, IP address request to the Wi-Fi router. This is bridge adapter mode. You at your home you can do this, but in UCF we cannot do this because the UCF DHCP router, this Wi-Fi router is running this so-called DHCP service. DHCP service is a dynamic IP address allocation service. It basically receives your IP address request, then it will assign one IP address to you. So that's how we connect to hotspot. The UCF Wi-Fi system, the IP address assign service, they don't assign IP address to virtual machine because they can tell this IP request is from a virtual machine or from physical machine. They are slightly different. So inside the campus network, I cannot use bridge adapter. So I use this network mode. Network mode is that here's a tutorial how you can set up network mode, but it's actually very simple. In this VirtualBox, you just choose this network. Here should show up as a default name as network. If the network is not show up, you should on VirtualBox you can click a file preference and network to create that network. Like this, when you open this VirtualBox, you file VirtualBox this preference, then in this this is quite different from this Windows version of the VirtualBox. In Windows version, you should have a networking option here, but so if you, on Windows VirtualBox, if you cannot find that network name, you go through this procedure to create that network router. And this is a tutorial that you can follow to create that. The network mode is basically that the VirtualBox network engine will create this virtual router. But if you configure this 3 VM to use the same net router, then when the 3 VM run, they will connect it to the same net router. In this way, the 3 VM will be in the same LAN and they can talk to each other. In this way, the host OS cannot see the VM. The VM cannot see the host OS. So host OS is isolated from your virtual machines. This is the safe environment for you to use. Your virtual machine, if you do any crazy things, they will not affect your host OS. So you can see the difference between this network mode and this net. Net is basically for every VM, it will automatically create a net router. Here you can specify what's the name for the net router. If they use the same name, then they are in the same LAN. You can change the net router's subnet, but you actually don't need to change that. You can just use the default subnet. Okay, so that is for Windows machine, the VirtualBox. How about the VMware Player or VMware Fusion? A VMware Player, they support many networking operation. It's very similar to VirtualBox, but they call it a different name. In VMware software, the net mode is called share with my Mac, share with my computer, and bridged mode is auto detect. So at home you can choose either net or bridged. So if you use VMware, you should choose this one of these two networking mode. It's called net or bridged. And net is also called share with my Mac stuff. So bridged mode is like that. In UCF, you can only use the net mode. A bridged mode will make your VM in the same home LAN as your Mac OS. So it's the name is different from VirtualBox, but they will achieve the same functionality. It's just that the name is different. So you can use either this name or this name of the networking mode for your VMware software. For UTM, it's called a shared network. This is equivalent to this network in VirtualBox, or you can use the bridged, and this is equivalent to the bridge adapter in VirtualBox. Like in my UTM, if I click, I cannot see the setting right now. I can see, because right now it's running, I need to stop it. Then I can see the setting. Because the setting is not showing up. Okay, setting is here, so you can see. Oh, this is the entire UTM setting. If I want to see a VM setting, I need to stop its running. Okay, here is the edit setting, and you can see the network mode. I'm using this shared network mode. Shared network mode is basically equivalent to the network, so that's how I can use in UCF network. I can also use bridged mode in my home. That is UTM here. You can use this bridged mode. Bridged mode will be able to use at home, just like the bridge adapter in VirtualBox. So that's how you make these settings. The goal is to make all the VM in the same virtual local area network. Okay, how do you transfer file between VM and host? The simplest, the easiest way is use online server for file upload and download. You can use drag and drop. In VirtualBox, you can drag and drop. But in many cases, this VirtualBox, this drag and drop function does not work. So the easiest way is still use online server like a Google Drive or Microsoft OneDrive to upload and download files between your VM and your host OS. VirtualBox support drag and drop, but many times this one does not work.